Hi everyone, Harry here to talk about the current fight for her professional life that Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle is waging in front of the House Oversight Committee, where she is being grilled mercilessly about the assassination attempt. Okay, so first we have a very hostile, tough audience here. And she knew it coming in. We've already had, this is her second appearance, we've already had Republican lawmakers calling for her head. Second, unlike other hearings, this is not one where they're defiant and explain to lawmakers who are just being politically biased or skewed why what they did made sense. She is completely falling on her sword. She is calling this the biggest operational failure in Secret Service history. And on the substance, and point number 3 here, I mean, we talked about this, I talked about it from the second it happened, which was WTF, a guy getting a line of sight shot at 150 yards to Trump in the middle of a rally. Mind-boggling, inconceivable, especially the way things are supposed to go. This is really the grandmother of all fuck-ups. But for that, she is trying hard to save her job, nevertheless. That's the strategy. I'm the best person to lead at this time. This will never, ever, ever happen again. We are already making sure we are hiring the best and brightest, so that kind of line. Fifth, you can tell that she has the support of, and this is important in this, all it would take is a little phone call from the Homeland Security Director, Alejandro Mayorkas, and she would have to be gone. You know, I'm sorry, Kimberly, it's not fair, but in order to turn the page. But no, he's also, and remember, he's the cabinet official they chose to impeach. So he himself is a figure of great controversy on Capitol Hill, and Republicans love to come after him. It's also his bailiwick to take care of the border, which is the Republicans' favorite topic to totally beat up on the administration. It's actually going to be a very big part of the coming election, since Kamala Harris was given charge for the border. So we're going to be seeing it a lot. The Trump campaign obviously will think it's a winning kind of card. But Mayorkas is with her, and he's done something significant but very classically Washington, and this is the last point I want to explain, and that is the Blue Ribbon Committee, always the great final stratagem for just like putting things off. Hopefully the temperature will cool and the person will live to fight, and not just the person, really here the Secret Service is existentially on the line. Such a crazy, terrible snafu. Anyway, he has announced this morning, and it's no coincidence, that this is when Cheadle is also testifying, the Blue Ribbon panel of genuine bipartisan people to conduct a 45-day review, say, not indefinite, not 6 months. Give us 45 days. 45 days seems like, a blink of an eye in congressional timeline, but that's a big chunk to move this, but not till after the election, you notice, but to move it down the road. And he has appointed some very respected folks. He may appoint more, we're told, but there's a theme to them, the folks that I discern. Let me just tell you briefly about them. So Janet Napolitano was a former Homeland Security Secretary, same position as Mayorkas. And before that, she was, I'm pretty sure, governor of Arizona. After that, she was the head of the whole University of California system, the number one on board of trustees. Fran Townsend, a former Homeland Security advisor to President George W. Bush. Mark Phillip, a former federal judge and a deputy attorney general under George Bush. and David Mitchell, who is he's a state guy who I don't know very well, but it reads very balanced. But here's the thing: Napolitano, Townsend, Phillip are all government types, not partisan types. So Mark Phillip, Deputy Attorney General, that's a real political position, but he is an absolute stand-up, pro-good government guy, longtime prosecutor, clerked for Antonin Scalia, a friend of mine. I've jogged with him many times. Fantastic guy, very smart. But the basic thing is, I'm sure he's never cast a vote for a Democrat in his life, but he understands government. He's worried about government efficacy, not a Trumpian, demolition expert wanting to tear down government and, claw at on the whole administrative state. Janet Napolitano, same thing, and she's a Democrat, comes from the Democratic side. And Fran Townsend, yes, very well respected, former Homeland Security Secretary under George W. Bush, sounds like a good Republican. In fact, she was a prosecutor in the Southern District of New York, so the classic nonpartisan position, and worked in Janet Reno's Justice Department, including with me, so I know her. So these are the pros. This is really who's missing from the current Republican Party, people who actually care about the good functioning of government. And Mayorkas's obvious hope is that those kinds of sober, responsible, thoughtful voices will prevail, and they'll do a constructive. No one's going to whitewash the Secret Service here. Remember, Cheadle gets up there and says the worst failure ever. So we know that's the context, but they don't want to give the Trumpian House and what is now really, as we saw in Milwaukee, the Trump party, the opening to just raise and demolish the Secret Service, which they'd love to do. So we see here an actual divide, a very important modern divide that was maybe reached its clear high level in Milwaukee at the convention between the Trump Republican Party that wants to, it's nihilist, cynical, wants to tear everything down, and like grown-ups, including registered Republican grown-ups who understand the importance of law enforcement and reforming, I'm sure, the Secret Service, but in a way that still keeps it functioning. So that's the play that Mayorkas has made here, and Cheadle is part of it. She is up there to be a piñata these couple hours. We'll see what it looks like after, and if they conclude she's just become too big a part of the story to stick around. But that's the hope for now of the Secret Service, reading between the lines. Cheadle gets to stick around. They get a 45-day period of grace, and these essential professional government folks make constructive recommendations that actually strengthen the Secret Service rather than completely level it. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.